this is one that our new case manager, well, co-case manager, Carrie, she worked on this one.
So we had a development here as some personal matters had come up, causing Kim to have to basically flee back to Michigan. Work our contingency plan here because having two case managers is really beneficial. She believes the house was built around the 40s or 50s. They lived at the house since 1996.
I had some premonitions of suicide.
Okay. My goal on this one also is to kind of work with David and monitor him.
Eric with Paranormal Endeavors.
On this priority case, something has bothered the client.
Since I was having problems, his friend gave me this rosary.
I had some drawings to the upstairs, and I was drawn to a picture that was on the wall.
The team quickly gets directed to a particular area in the home.
Automatically when I got here, I was caught up on everything that's been going on so far.
That sounded like you. That sounded like you when it said that. This property had a couple that divorced. Which one of you got the house?
The bitch.
But we'll just kind of see. Everything kind of depends on this last session to see where we feel about it.
It's a distraught, upset soul. Hey, doing us here. And I think he's ready to go, but he's just scared. He's uncertain. I'm drained.
Do the findings help calm any fears?
Go back into the evidence and actually see, yeah, it was not only mocking just one, it was actually mocking 3 of us.
During the reveal, the team receives a validating bombshell.
After drilling my kids, my twins, I found out that they were playing with the Ouija board.
Okay.
Later, a former investigator from another team shares a personal battle with depression and influences by unseen forces.
A couple weeks ago, I was at probably the lowest point I've ever been in my life.
Actually worked in a different team in the paranormal field.
And forcing me to go get help. Seeing the vulnerability and then latching on. Because I could see I was getting weaker with each case we'd gone to or each bad thing that had happened. Weakened my defenses against them.
Hello, Kim. What's going on? Alright, so we had a development here as some personal matters had come up, causing Kim to have to basically flee back to Michigan. So, because of the inconsistency and indefinite status of those personal matters, she's basically stepping down. Oh, you're back in Michigan.
Well, after the Atomo case, Kim left. She moved back to Michigan, and Carrie stepped up, and I'm so happy she did, because she helped me with the Atomo case.
Hi, I'm Carrie, and case manager Kim has moved out of state again, so I stepped up to assist in the case manager. Gonna work with Mary. It's gonna be exciting.
Okay, well, we're hoping that you could stay around more on a permanent basis.
I feel it's kind of in my wheelhouse of experience to interview people. I do it a lot at work.
A hole that we'll have here, because Kim's been with us for a while, since towards the end of chapter 1, because she was a client turned into someone who's interested in researching, so she was client turned researcher later on. So, and for half of that time she's been a case manager, so we'll just have to find someone to kind of step in here, even if it's just interim, until we can get another case manager, because Mary could definitely use the assistance.
My schedule's cleared up quite a bit, so I have some time to assist now.
Nearly impossible to keep you on, and we've been down this road before. And Carrie had volunteered to step up to fill up that slack, which would be good. Carrie is a great candidate.
Can't wait till we do the rest of the season, chapter 5. I hope we have some more investigations.
She has a lot of insight about, about the interviews and all that, so I think it's going to be really great. I'm really happy to have her on board.
But probably going to have to strip you of case manager right now. Alright, yeah. Well, good luck to you, though. I hope everything turns out good, and with Jason as well. Well, Jason, hi. Alright. Alright, bye.
Yeah, we just had a case manager meeting with both of us, and I think we're ready to go, ready to take on some cases.
Attach audio files, which should work for anything, onto an email to send it, as I know that you're still old school, but it's good to know these skills. You gotta keep up with it.
My world is opening up.
So we'll put her in there, and we'll see what happens, and maybe we'll look elsewhere or recruit again for someone more long-term. So I had a visitor that stopped by. He was a former colleague, actually worked in a different team in the paranormal field. He's actually stepped out of the paranormal field for now, but for very good reason. And he decided to come by to share that reason in hopes that others might learn from this. Alright, hey, how are you doing, Josh? Yeah. Came over here. I know that you've kind of idolized our team, and you kind of like what you see and that kind of thing. Something had happened that you'd said, I guess, affected your, mental health.
Yeah, it was an event at Klondike Hotel.
Yeah, there's a particular night recently that Jackie had actually reached out to me with concerns for Josh, as she was talking to him, and I didn't know what was going on yet at that point. And she told me, filled me in. We had a long conversation about it, and that's when I told Jackie, just go ahead then and get the authorities involved on this, because things he had said and were potentially doing, allegedly, were enough to prompt concern.
First time, there was slight negative activity, EMF readings, high spikes up into the 4.0s.
I guess he had started, I don't think he realized it, but he was provoking the spirit at the time, was the way I started to kind of feel it based off of the way I felt after the incident.
The energy was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't a place you'd want to be, per se. And the next thing I remember is he starts listing off the names that we had picked up.
And asked me if I was okay, and I responded with I was really angry. And I think from what I saw was the team leader had upset a spirit that had already become negative due to the manner of its death and how many years it's been there.
And we've seen this before with folks battling depression to the point of having suicidal thoughts. You know, it's not a great field to be in when you're that low in the stages of your depression. It's good to step out, maybe not take on any cases.
And I think it really latched on to some issues I had as a kid with my anger and depression I was battling when I was younger. And that's why it kind of picked me out of the 4 people in that room.
But looking back on it, you know, a few weeks later, stuff in my life started to kind of go downhill, and my depression came back, and for the longest time I tried to just bottle it up. The lowest point I've ever been in my life.
It actually ended up with Jackie, who I've become good friends with since Edinburgh, intervening and forcing me to go get help. And you know, looking back on it, thinking about things, there are the, I don't want to say real world, but the physical world factors that come into play, as well as I feel there's those paranormal ones too, from things seeing the vulnerability and then latching on.
Weakened my defenses against them.
Yeah, we already had things bad going on, and then it enhanced it. Well, it leached onto that.
Yeah.
The negativity and the spirit side of things. And vulnerability level just skyrockets when you go out to a place that might have something malicious, and that energy will seek it out and land itself and pounce upon you when you're having your weakest moment.
Yeah, I remember that night, Jackie and I had a long conversation because we were trying to do it to where one of us could maybe show up and try to help you, you know.
Yeah.
But I'd heard, you know, there's resistance to giving out the address, so we ended up having to, you know, force your hand and got the authorities involved. And
I think I'm probably gonna take a bit, just get myself together and into a good place, and then I'm gonna try to work my way back into a team or eventually start my own.
There'll be more cases. They'll still be there, you know, and in this instance, his passion's still there for this. So the passion's not dead, and that's good.
Yeah, definitely still feel like it's my calling, it's what I need to be doing.
It's just not your time.
These things can't happen, yeah.
And it's not all, you know, unicorns, candy canes, and rainbows out there, you know. It's not all grandma knocking on the fridge, is my old metaphor thing I used to say, but I think we caught it. It was good that we did that and basically forced him to get the help that he needed. And I'm glad it turned out okay. It seems like he's doing better now.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming by and sharing that story.
No problem.
So, alright, we'll take care. So with this one, this is Carrie's case report. This is Carrie's first case manager duty. So you get to see how she does things and her style.
Better my style.
So for this one, it's a Des Moines, Iowa case, so it's fairly local. Client requests us to do both spiritual and scientific.
Getting ready to do another residential. This will be really good. This will be my third case, including the day walk.
Find need for investigation as high as she is disturbed by and daily life is affected by paranormal phenomena. She believes the house was built around the 40s or 50s. They lived at house since 1996.
and do have the abstract, which is good. So leave that up to you, because I told Carrie, it's like, since she's out of town this weekend, that with you going there, we get camera up, kind of like we did in Oskaloosa, sit down with the client, see if there's any more filler information, take notes, we'll add that to the case profile, and then see if she can get the abstract out, and kind of browse through that.
This is my third investigation going on. Excited, nervous, all those usual feelings.
Well, this is one that our new case manager, well, co-case manager, Carrie, she worked on this one.
Began to have activity in her house around 2002. She reports a spike in activity in last year.
Gonna work on grounding myself more. Still need to find something to help me ground. And then not falling asleep this time.
You know, I looked over her notes. Looks like she got a lot of information, and I'm kind of excited about, you know, seeing what goes on tonight.
She sees shadow people. A blob has hovered over her. States it looks like the show Predator. Okay, there we go. She defines blob as glistening. Husband saw it too once. Husband has witnessed the bed moving. He says her name and she does not respond. She wakes to an alternative reality. Her kids have seen shadow people in bedroom. Felt touches. He had bruises on arms and legs. Just one bruise, like a finger impression. Finds pennies and dimes, believes from maybe mom and dad. Maybe leaves those. So for this one, Carrie had helped set up this case. It's a private residential, and it sounds like a priority case, which is the ones that we try to focus on even the most out of all of the profiles. And we're going to go there and see what we can find out. There's a couple things that Carrie had put into her report that we're going to focus on and expand on. Mary's going to get there and do a little bit of case manager duty to do kind of the finishing touches of it.
Had a little precognitive things coming down here to try and stay as in the dark as possible for myself, for my own likings.
Because that's a whole other
So you were talking incubus or succubus?
Yes. So we don't know on that yet. So I have to clarify and see, you know, when you get there you can ask some more of these questions. If you want to write some of this down so you remember, and just because there's a few things in her notes that we had to clarify a little bit. She took off. And then, of course, Carrie wanted some feedback, so any of these things, I'll let her know.
Okay. And with some of the things that was said during the briefing, don't know what quite make of it yet. We'll find out, see what ties in, and as the investigation goes throughout tonight.
So for this one, we have Jarrett, David, and Mary, and then myself, and then Jackie's going to join us a little bit later.
Hello. Eric with Paranormal Endeavors.
Eric, we talked, and I know Brandon, your son. And this is Mary, case manager, the other one. You work with Carrie. That's David, he's field researcher.
Hello.
And then Jarrett, he's our evidence analyst.
Hello.
So I guess just kind of start off with some of the main things that stood out to you of what's happened, especially more recently.
I was sleeping in my room, and I have a black lab. She sleeps with me also. I was laying sideways in the bed, so I was like at the head of the bed, and I had like this much room before the wall. And she's done it to my husband, he said before. Because he's out of town during the week, and it's just me here with my oldest twin. And she sat up, and she whimpered, she whined, and then she jumped behind me and was trying, you know, peeking through my neck and was crying and all that. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what the heck? You know, and then I was sitting on the couch, and this time I was awake. And I'm watching TV, and you know how if your kids are little and they're bugging you and you're kind of yeah type of thing. I'm doing that, and I noticed there was a little black boy sat next to me.
Came to the client's house, got everything all set up, going through initial feelings in the place.
We did the walkthrough, heard from the client what she's experienced.
Looked, because I saw something coming towards me, like this way. And it was a guy in a turban, a white turban and a white robe looking thing. And he had this bowl or this plate, and he would look in my eyes and then look down at the plate. Sorry. And he would look at me in my eyes and then look down at the plate. And I was just getting ready to go, what is in it? And he blew red powder in my face.
He was like this
Indian.
Southeast Asian.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was taking a nap before I had an interview. And I was laying in my bed, and I woke up, and it looked like there was like a red design all over the ceiling and halfway down the walls. And people were walking, you know, up there, and they would look down at me, and I could hear them talking. They were normal people. They never talked to me, but, you know, I could see them, I could hear them.
I noticed the rosaries and the dream catch and all that. Are you of Catholic faith?
No.
Or
No.
you just, because I'm not Catholic either, and I have rosaries, and so.
Yeah, my husband got them rosaries from auction, and then since I was having problems, his friend gave me this rosary, and it was blessed by the Pope.
You don't get those very often.
Yeah.
The house?
No, but I'm sure
I'll
it's
show you
in there.
in here, okay. Well, we arrived to our destination, and it all seemed to go well. I sat down with the client while everyone else did the setup, and she handed me the abstract, and there was quite a bit, you know, going on in there, and got some names. So
had some drawings to the upstairs, and I was drawn to a picture that was on the wall. Later found out, talking to the client, that it was her mother. Yeah, it was her mother that had passed on, so the energies kind of were drawn there. So we took it down, asked the client if that was okay, and put it in front of the cameras.
Setup went pretty well. We actually got set up and ready to go in under an hour and a half of arriving, so we're really pleased with that. It's a smaller home, or average home, so really like that.
Eric showed us how to set up the pods again. Always need a refresher course.
Oh, look who joined us. He actually caught us in a break, so. Yay.
So I'm just getting off work, and I've been working all night, so just getting to the location of the investigation and noticing a few things right off the bat. Definitely as you're pulling up the left side of the house, there's the room right there. She's kind of catching my eye.
We went upstairs for the first session, and it was a very good session. Actually, in the abstract, there was this property had a couple that divorced, and it got split from
Yeah, it
that.
doesn't say divorce very often.
Yeah, so there is something to that.
Located, send. Well, see, that's how we talk back and forth. We've got a couple of devices here. This is called an obelisk. This will work with what you're trying to say and put it into words. That's why you're able to tell us how to do this. That's why you keep asking how and why this is working and different words that come up here. The other one on my other hand is a K2. This one affects your energy and reacts according to it. And you can use it to move that light to yellows, oranges, and reds. That lets us know a positive or negative response.
Yes? Anybody in here with us? This is Eric, Jarrett, me?
Well, for the first part of the session, I was downstairs watching the monitor. Didn't really see anything.
We went up there, and one of the first things that happened, of course, which I get maybe in every other case it seems like, get my name said.
There we go. That works.
That sounded like you. That sounded like you when it said that.
Gets my name every time.
Well, it sounded like your voice.
Right? I know. So, you know how to use this thing then? You can come through it. Or make it a word that you can say.
Automatic.
Clearly said through the SP7 box, my name.
Started right away. It said Eric's name really clearly.
Pretty one on there. What are you doing? It sounded like.
We're here to communicate with you.
Yeah, that's got on the back of my head too.
Yeah. What are you doing? It sounded like.
Yeah, now the chill just came back.
Yeah. Chill's over right there.
There was like a woman that came through. Sounded like my voice actually, and that was kind of strange. I had got some chills.
Tone that down a notch maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I don't know. The last one, it almost sounded like my voice coming through.
Kinda. Are you mimicking our voices?
It may be a little scary and misunderstood right now. Help you.
Are you happy because we're here and finally somebody can listen to you? So there was a separation, so there was a divorce.
Which one of you got the house?
The bitch.
Almost. Yeah,
That's what it sounded like.
What it says.
That's what it sounded like.
We did hear downstairs, clearly, the word bitch. Don't know what it was referring to exactly, or who, so.
And upstairs, right off the bat, we started getting some intelligent activity. Not only the SP7, but the Obelisk 3, both reacting very rapidly, like gunfire answers. After a little bit, whatever was interacting decided to figure out the K2 meters and was going back and forth between me and Eric.
So Are you upset at your ex-wife?
It's Alex the bitch again. That could help with the divorce. Find out more information about that.
Oh,
K2 went off. K2 went off by Jared.
Yep. There you are. You figured it out. And I haven't moved, so whatever just went by, you can do that again. There you are.
There, wow. Mary, did you get that?
Where's it at? In his hand, right?
Yep.
It went all the way to red.
You got it figured out. And I'm in an electro-neutral area. So every time you go by that, we'll see that and we recognize it. And you can use that to answer questions. Can you do it again for us? Go ahead and make that hit red again. Come on, there you are.
There you go. Every time I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if this is who it was. There was a possible, it was described as an Indian boy or an young man, maybe of Middle Eastern descent. Is that you?
There it is.
So you can understand English then? You don't need to talk Arabic? Yes? You getting that, Mary?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got
It's kind of funny that once you cross over like that, everything makes sense now, doesn't it? You no longer have those?
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. I find that a lot with those that I talk to that cross over. Language barriers are removed, religions are removed. There's a lot of things that will come to you if you just let it come. Some of the questions that you have and the misunderstandings and not knowing. There you go.
Yeah.
Car.
We're asking questions and the K2s, one would go off, then the other one would go off. It was kind of cool watching all that. Whatever was up there really wanted to communicate with us. It was very cooperative.
Are you happy here? Are you okay being here? Yes?
Yes.
You're not the one scaring the people that live here, right?
No.
Make it blank for yes. Do nothing for no. So it's not you. Okay. I want to make sure. Is it somebody else that's causing the client or the homeowner to be a little bit afraid, a little on edge? Is there somebody else here?
Yep.
Ooh, that was a red.
That was a big red.
Thank you. We're not throwing anybody under the bus. You're just helping us because we're here. That's why we're here. Trying to figure out if those of you might have a message, or to figure out if there's something like a crossover that is needed for
I've got a question.
you.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you with the Gen right now?
Yes.
You surprised I know what they are? Good, you shouldn't be. I'm very familiar with the Gen.
What's a gin?
It's another word for
genie, or
okay.
The spirits of the desert is another that they call them. There you go.
Oh, okay. So.
And they're considered like Indians' angels, but they also can be tricksters.
Yes.
So Gen have to be kind of weary. It's kind of why I always say the angels and demons.
Oh well,
are the same
red to
creature.
red.
There you go. Yup. I used to chase Jen out in Las Vegas.
Earlier what? Earlier what?
They.
Earlier they what?
Answering our questions and being very direct in responses. As evidence analysis, I'm going to look forward to going through some of this in the next several weeks and see what was picked up that we could not hear with our own ears.
Then later on it started kind of tag team between two of our K2 meters. Jared had one, I had one. Started to give intelligent, pretty rapid, quick responses on his. Then it moved over to mine. Ultimately, the individual was giving off the fact that he was happy there. Maybe some kind of a car wreck, car crash of some sort. He's related to that. And then he wanted us to go downstairs because that's where the real attention needed to be done.
Can you help us figure out who the bad person is? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
What's his name? Or her name?
You can say it through this.
"90 days?
I heard that. Chills on my left hand. Are you over here trying to figure this thing out? Yes?
Yep.
Does anyone mean to harm anyone in this house?
Chills on my left hand.
No, there goes.
Coming up again. Have you already chased them off? So I know some protect places. Is that what you're doing?
Let's say.
Digging. I think that, did that go off? I looked away. Okay.
Yep. Flashed at the same time, so I said digging, it flashed. I'm gonna dig, and that's what the questions are for.
Is the woman in this house, is she in harm's way? Yes.
It's very faint. You over here by me now? Yes? Yes.
There you go.
I was thinking, and I didn't say it, and I noticed that you are the type, as I know a lot of them that can hear our thoughts sometimes. I was thinking, do we need to be maybe downstairs in that bedroom where the client sleeps and notices a lot of the activity? Because that seems to be the main suspect. Do we need to go downstairs?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's almost an urgent flower.
So somebody needs help downstairs. So we need to go downstairs. Okay.
Are you coming with us downstairs?
Chills on my left side.
So you're staying up here, is that what you're saying?
We're gonna go upstairs and we're gonna see what her and I can stir up.
Yours went off.
Yep.
I like the tag teaming of the K2s. We don't get it very often. Usually it's just one.
Yeah. It's nice that you're going back and forth. Showing you're cooperating.
Appreciate it.
You're willing. And you're inquisitive. Quick learning, too.
Are you an old soul? Soul?
100. We're going to send 2 girls and David upstairs, since he hasn't been up there yet either. I'm looking forward to checking out, see what's going in the bedroom, because both the spirit box and the obelisk, or the K2s, sorry, was answering our questions that upstairs was a happy place and we needed to investigate downstairs.
And so we're going to be going into that room, but I'm going to send Jackie, since Jackie just showed up, give her a chance, and David a chance to go upstairs and see what they can get themselves up there.
I'm actually about to go up to the second floor, so I'm really excited about that. Get to see if I can pick up on anything or if we can get any more questions answered. The team decided to be very family oriented and very loving of my arachnophobia.
And you're gonna walk with me.
I'll put mine on the pause.
Okay. This way. And go into the room on the right.
And had me venture into a room, and at first I was just thinking, okay, maybe it's just something spiritual that they're wanting me to pick up on. No, there's...
What? The energy? You feel it? Alright, and then go ahead and look over here.
No! Oh my god, oh my god.
I wanted to hold it.
For lack of better words, there was a spider in that room.
I'm feeling 8 legs.
I went to look and all I saw was the 2 different colored markings and fuzzy, and I was gone.
Jackie. Jackie.
It's Jax.
That's how you know we love you.
Yes, I have a
Mini heart attack?
mini panic attack.
Oh, okay. And a coronary?
I've got Valium in an emergency.
Sure you want to put
Subconsciously, because otherwise you would have been in there with the 2 tarantulas.
Yeah.
There's 2. They're not small.
No.
That face is priceless.
I'm like, nope. I could not get out of that room quick enough. What was the original setup of the house before the remodeling?
Just like it is now.
Just like it is.
We just put a floor in the kitchen, a floor in the bathroom, and a cupboards in the kitchen.
It just did the Indian stomach cleansing now, earthen again.
I don't want to get too much into it, but once I mentioned the light and things like that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so is there anybody up here who wants to communicate with us?
I'm David.
I'm Mary on the camera.
I'm Jackie over here with one of the K2s. Now can you tell us your name?
Eric and I stayed downstairs, watched the monitors. Not a lot showing up on there.
I went back upstairs again with Jackie and David.
I went upstairs with Jackie and Mary.
Just kind of started asking more general questions and started getting more K2 hits towards the red. Have you guys established if there's any sort of connection with the family?
There wasn't any.
Is that the K2?
What?
Children. Can you make the K2 light up like you did before? The one on the bed? You were doing so well with it before. Or are you protecting the boy that stays in his room?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What, did you see it light up?
Okay, so just confirmation, if you are, in fact, a male, K2.
Here. Oh, God.
We definitely notice more activity when we start talking more military based, so that'll be really interesting to see if that connects dots anywhere in the future.
Yeah. It's lighting up. Okay.
Just kind of like there was somebody standing over here.
Okay. Are you here to protect this house? Yes. Are you a genie? You are the genie that was here? So you come off at kind of like a little boy, is that right? About the size of a boy?
Wasn't really doing much, and so we're gonna go downstairs.
From sounds of it, they had some stuff, but it wasn't as active as the first session. Things are all leaning towards the next session, which could be our last one. It's the spiritual side. You know, I have a spirit interceptor on here for now to join you for a little bit, for a few minutes. Okay. Then we'll take a break, and then we'll do spiritual, and we'll go on that side of the house.
Okay.
Looking forward to going into the bedrooms, seeing what's going on in there, and hopefully we have as much of an intelligent interaction as we did upstairs.
2 bedrooms. 3 of us will go, and I know Mary and I called dibs on the other one over here. Do you feel you need to be in that one too? Or either one works for you?
Either one works for me.
Either one works for you, so you can go there, and then you have a preference in which room you go to?
That room.
Okay, so we have our 3 going there, so you and we'll join him in the smaller room. Alright. Seeing if there's a message that needs to be given, and going from there, and then I discuss with the client if the cleansing still feel needed at the end, then we'll happily do that too.
We split off into 2 groups.
There you go. That's how you get it working, is you get that little light going. Yep, you got the K2 going off again.
Well, you still have your K2 going off?
Yep. Cleansing enemy.
See it say 40?
The little boy or
hours.
this spirit is scared.
There
so
you
I
go.
clock something going 40.
Yep.
Through that device. 34 mile an hour. There we go.
Yes, you prefer blondes.
Because I didn't, when you said burn earlier, I didn't get fire burn. It was a different kind of burn.
Yeah.
Keep yourself down.
Getting like
Create
there's
a light anomaly around it.
tried multiple ways.
As long as it stays here, it cannot disappear. Or you can make money, pennies.
Did you try several times to take? There you go.
After Eric and Mary and Jackie started getting hits on their K2 and theirs quit, ours started getting hits off a bit, and then we eventually merged back into one group.
Using our sensitive natures, we developed out where those questions needed to go, and the right questions were then again responded immediately with the K2. Is that why I'm getting my wrists hurting and my neck hurting? Did you fail at one of them? Or did you use both of them to make sure it was done right? Ah, there you go. There you go.
Starting.
We went ahead and went into the spiritual side of the investigation. This is the part that we tend to get even the most activity, the most emotion, most personal, all that comes out. The ammunition that we collected throughout the night, then at that point we start tossing it out there during the spiritual side.
Is there someone here on the bed with me right now? Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Chills.
Getting chills already? Good. You're coming out very quickly.
Are you a man? Yes.
Is that a yes? Can you do it again?
Yes, it is a man.
Alright. We're here to find answers. You're here. This is Mary, Jackie, Eric, Jarrett, and David. You're able to pass in front of this device.
Do you do things just this while she's
Can you
asleep?
get that?
40.
Yeah.
But you still have your
Can you see
K2
it?
going
Yeah.
off? Mine doesn't. If you're a male presence, please light up the lights on this device. You've done it before. Let's see you do it again. Yeah.
Very good.
Oh,
You want to get that?
yeah, there you go. So you're a man then. So are you looking for a girlfriend?
Oh, it gets a stillness when that topic comes
There you
up.
go.
K2.
It went off?
It just went
Yep,
there.
it went off. So it might be that guy. It's just, he's really hesitant. He's not an immediate.
Were you in this room when you took your own life?
Alright, I'll do it in here first.
Okay.
See if I can do my tricks, as some of the spirits call it. So then I started doing the human version of the obelisk, as I call it, where I get the visions and I kind of go a little bit meditative state. My freak show, as others call it.
I call it cool.
I call it when do I get alert.
You call it what?
When do I get alert?
Yeah. Alright. Well, hey, you had to take in an offering, so
yeah.
Baby steps.
I always say it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you said in the interview in chapter 3, you're like, I didn't know you could do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, cool.
You get the color orange.
Boom. Oh, there you go.
And a vision of a sunset.
He's right there.
Are you showing me an outdoors setting? Somebody like the outdoors country, or and viewing it from your vision? Like a gravel road. It looks like it's Iowa, I'm not sure, but definitely a male presence. Some of the images that I was getting were instantly related to country and rural area, maybe 70s time frame, that kind of thing, at least based on the truck that I was given. It was an older automobile.
And while we were in there, a lot of chills, some K2 spikes.
Windmill. Not like a wind turbine, but a windmill, the old kind that Grandma would have.
Yes.
Did that go off?
Yes.
Thanks for the view into your life. I'm just trying to figure out what this all means. Like, what do you... And then at some point, an energy had kind of come through, and it sounded like my voice went up higher than it normally should have been. That's why I cut and broke out of my thing for a little bit there and told it they don't have permission to use more than visions. Visions only. A round bale of hay?
Yes.
And you can't use my voice to come through. Only give me the images and feelings.
Yeah, what's going on?
Stronger K2 hits.
Because you're not allowed to. I draw the line somewhere. But that little, you guys caught it. We'll have to watch it back in the footage. I'm breaking just briefly. When my voice did that
like
thing,
that
I sounded like I got louder all of a sudden. That didn't feel like me. I'm just letting you know.
Well, it went up to orange.
Yeah.
To that time.
Eric, if you start seeing a building, I want you to stop.
Start seeing a building? Okay. What kind? What do you...
Like a brick building.
As Eric was doing his human obelisk portion, I was kind of seeing a little bit of what he was describing, and then there was a point where there was kind of like a break, and I kind of picked up a little bit on it, just like a little bit short, what have you, but as he was going into his multiple sessions of this, the feeling just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Something more you need to tell me? Alright, I'm going back, so show me what you wanted to show me. But we got the hay, the bale of hay. I get like a fall season, of course. That's why I asked to harvest. Are you the one who committed suicide, or did you have an accident?
What? Hmm?
Falling asleep.
No, I'm not. When they were doing the cleansing part of the investigation, my leg started bothering me, so I sat on the floor in the bedroom, and everybody thought I was asleep, but I wasn't.
Chills.
I'm getting chills now.
I got chills.
gonna back out real quick and then go back in, and I'll tell you why when I'm done. But just we'll start over again. You're taking me to another place. It looked like it was like a hay field that had been recently harvested. It was all brown. Yeah, nothing. It wasn't green, so I knew it was a field of some sort, or it was dead weeds in the country.
I mean, I'm getting chills and I'm getting a real bad headache.
Is this where you passed away? Is this something... Did you die there? No? No? Yes? Maybe? Were you murdered there? Did somebody hurt you there? Did you hear that woman?
Yeah, the girl voice.
I am so...
Was there a jilted lover thing? Is that the connection? Yes? Mary's getting emotional, I think.
I'm really cold.
Yeah, this room's hot, but my chill factor's down.
I mean, my teeth are chattering.
Did something happen? Huh? Is this a connection with the divorce? Is this what you're trying to tell us earlier? But it's not a divorce physically, it's a separation maybe? Some kind? I don't know. The woman's coming into play now. Yes?
I'm taking myself out of the room.
Okay. Mary is exiting. She needs to take a break.
Yeah, I'm freezing.
Mary is exiting.
I'm not used to. I got really cold. I'm not used to being cold. Well, I'm just coming off of, like I said before, I think tonight, I'm coming off an illness, and so I think that had something to do with it.
I still love you? Is that what you said? I still love you? Is that what you said?
K2.
There's definitely a connection between a couple here.
Strong K2s.
Did you do something you shouldn't have?
Orange.
Did you hurt somebody? Is there a crime of passion? I'm breaking. It's getting shaky.
It's just been doing that consistently.
That might have tied up to the earlier... That was the sign earlier. That was the divorce. But it wasn't in that context. I'm leaning more towards... dare say it, like murder-suicide kind of thing.
So it won't.
Chose.
And that it wasn't old school building though, but I did see it. It's weird that you'd said that. That's why I wondered if you got a flash of it earlier.
As you were going into it, it seemed very... maybe not necessarily the same building, but a building did pop up in my mind as it was starting to lead you closer into it, and that's why I told you, like, it popped up a little bit before, but not bad. But then as you were getting closer and it was leading you further in, that's when I was just like, okay, Eric, like, if you go to a building, stop.
So were you were seeing what I was seeing, or they were showing you the same thing?
I saw a building.
Okay. I didn't know if they like showed you it and then I went there too. Because I didn't think you were with me on my journey.
No. It was more like it was somewhere in the process of being led to. So I did tell him that if he comes to a brick building, to stop. Like, don't go and just stop.
Possibly, because he kept throwing me a windmill too, like an old windmill. But it was like an abandoned, or it wasn't like lived-in building. 2 of them went there.
1.
and something happened. That's kind of where I left off.
About that time, this came up with solo, but it sounded like silo.
Okay. Afraid of crossing over.
Right.
Is it a cleansing of himself? What's wrong, David?
Oh, I heard something in mine.
Oh, okay.
Like directly right behind me.
Yeah. Like someone who would go in for confession.
Right.
That kind of a cleansing.
Right.
She went over there, she felt the love and everything, she came back, she was one of the fortunate ones to be able to tell us what it's like on the other side. That one was red.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see that? Are you willing to be open to that? Because I think you're just afraid, you're unsure. Because you're not evil. I mean, you have a conscience, and I think that's why you're pulling us here, because it's time. Try this thing, see if you're willing to go or not. Again, you have the will to be able to. I can just show you the way, but you have to be ready to go. This is draining for me to hold this open sometimes, so I can go for a while, but if you don't go, then you might be here longer, I don't know. That's up to you. That's why we call it the offering. We're not forcing you to go, but I think you'd be happier. St. Michael the Archangel, call upon you. Come here. Come down and help any spirits that are troubled, lost, stuck.
I get to watch the cleansing
And guide him to where he needs to go. I think he's a distraught, upset soul. K2 went off here. And I think he's ready to go, but he's just scared. He's uncertain. He doesn't think there might be forgiveness there for him.
K2 is just steadily flashing orange.
The crime that he committed, he feels remorse, he regrets it. There's a lot of pain with that, both everyone involved. And whoever the woman is, again, if you're trapped or any unfinished business there as well, you're welcome to go as well. Mainly I get the man here, but if there's anyone else who wants to go too, this is for you.
During the cleansing portion of it, the first half with the white light went really well, I think. It was pretty to the point. The guy just needed some encouragement.
If you're ready. I'm feeling lighter. Are you going? Having it open for you. Visualize that tunnel, that white light, that shield of happiness and love that embraces you. St. Michael's there. You don't have to make the journey alone.
Home on the speaker. I heard that.
Did you go? Are you home? And we moved him along, and I felt that release a little bit, but I didn't feel the complete warmth embrace that I normally do when I do a crossover. So I knew that there was a little bit more in everyone, because we asked the sensitives in the room, and they all agreed. I see the blue sky. That's a good sign for me.
Yes.
Yes? How are the K2s? This one's silent.
This one went silent when I was dancing, clearing the reds on the steady.
I just want to be sure before I close it. I want to make sure you went. I feel lighter. Usually there's a warmth that I feel, but I...
Oh, there goes the...
Are you going?
Yes.
Try it again. I feel lighter. Usually there's a warmth that I feel, but I...
Oh, there goes the...
Are you going?
Try it again.
Try it again.
Eric went ahead and did the cleansing to start off the night, or to end the night. Got great results out of it.
Things just seem lighter after the cleansing.
Alright, I'm going to close this. Thanks, St. Michael. And protect us as we go home as well. Protect us from the wickedness and snares of the devil. Bye. Oh, let's say bye. I'm drained. I feel good. I mean, it doesn't... It feels lighter in here. It was heavy when I first came in here. Let me know what you think, sensitives. There was one involved there that felt like, okay, finally, and he seemed to be... Because I felt a release. Something changed in here, but...
If they choose it, then they can choose their destination. If you get forced out of here, there's no guarantee of where you're going to end up.
Yeah.
So this is your choice. This is your choice.
Let me know where you need me.
Huh?
Let me know where you need me.
Right on.
What?
Let me see your hand.
I'm okay. Turning more and more into Kelly. I hope you know that.
It's not a bad thing.
It's okay.
Become second mama.
And I finally got to this point of this overwhelming feeling of I'm no longer playing with this.
Audio.
Stay out of it.
So we decided to go ahead and split the cleansing and use a little more forceful approach. And so I used my backgrounds. Lord, my life, I do grant and power. Bring forth cleansing on this hour. And you shall be blind and forever bound from this house. Good ones find your home. Bad ones find their alone. And it's time to this power. Pagan roots of cleansing. And we decided to make it a you're going to go whether you like it or not, and it's your choice on where you want to go, and left it at that. The end. This shall not be your place to dwell. You are not welcome here. No more shall you torment. No more shall you govern.
Jared ended up doing the salt cleansing. I think that was definitely a very good addition onto the white light cleansing.
The teamwork aspect where I did that thing and then you did that thing, and hopefully there's more resolutions, a peaceful home.
And then that's when it left. It was gone. So I'm glad.
You gotta figure it out.
Especially this one. That's I don't want him going to sleep. David. So we're gonna start tear down now. You want to get up?
Oh, I just think I'm gonna be able to pick you up. Good God.
You're gonna pull him down.
I wasn't sleeping. I was just sitting.
I know, but that can lead to getting comfortable and then nodding off.
I wasn't comfortable. If I was comfortable, I'd be curling the ball.
But just try to keep your head up so we know. Just so we know. Especially during this kind of phase. Especially when we have multiple things going on. More calm environment from here on out.
He did a great job tonight. I'm really proud of David. As well as the others as well with their grounding techniques have gotten much better.
Your mother that we had detected when we were here, but it had nothing to do with everything else that was going on. I really didn't feel her presence as a spirit.
No, it's more of an overlook.
Yes. A crime of passion or whatever it was. I almost got murder-suicide, but we'll see. You know, again, that's just through the sensitive stuff that we do, so I don't know
sure, I need validation even myself. I've done this for years, but I still like to have the whole I'm not crazy thing.
And then what I did on the doors and the windows is a protection seal. That's basically like saran wrap in your food. It's going to keep them from being able to cross back in again. And it creates that protection barrier.
Your notice, it's like, oh, nothing's really going on, or oh, I can sleep like a baby now, you know. Those are good signs, you know. So
That
otherwise,
would be nice.
Yeah. So otherwise, not that far away. We have to do round 2. But I think what we did, because it was kind of cool, because I did the offering, as we call it that. It was more the kind of did good cop, bad cop, and that's kind of how it was.
Yeah.
You know, and I did that, and that one wanted to go. He just needed help. And I'm glad that my team didn't all freak, run out, pee their pants, all that kind of stuff. They stuck it through.
I think we did a good job.
I think that staying away from paranormal stuff right now is a good thing.
Yeah.
Just,
but if done right, it can usually be done to
increases the chances of success.
Yeah.
So don't even like dwell on it. Don't, you know, be like, no, it worked. You have that positive outlook. Keep the positive attitude. It's like, it worked. It's gone. Sleep. You know, this is my house. You take it back. Empowerment. And that will help. That's what we found.
Well, we discussed about setting boundaries. It's your rules, your place, your house.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Anyone else have any thoughts to it?
You guys are pretty much good on it. If you notice anything weird, don't hesitate to call.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice meeting you all. You too. Take care. Drive safe.
All right, we're getting ready for another great reveal. Kind of wish we'd caught more on the visual aspects of things.
A lot of this stuff is auditorial, so we didn't even get as many EVPs as some other places, but we got a lot of stuff through the SB7 Spirit Box. We got a lot of EMF interaction, and then the radar gun going off as well. So first of all, I just want to start off with how's the atmosphere been since we've been here?
For me, a lot better. I've only had maybe 3 other incidents. After drilling my kids, my twins, I found out that they were playing with the Ouija board here.
Okay.
And he said that the person upstairs would, he would like fold his clothes, and then they'd be thrown all over the room.
Whatever we're dealing with here, it's an entity, a spirit. It's a mocker. It likes to play jokes.
One thing that I did during the vision side, I'm getting better at drawing out my visions, is just like going back to Oskaloosa case. We look up during the crossover and seeing the clouds and the woman reach over, that kind of thing. This one I had another one, and my visions are getting sharper and more clear. I had to put it out, but I could still see it like it was yesterday. So I was looking at it from, this is the road basically, and you're looking back, and it was just like it reminded me of like a shed or an old garage, possibly, and then through a few broken windows here.
And so far so good. Haven't been scared like I was before. At least it's not picking on me no more.
Alright, well wishes, and thank you for having us over, and the patience that you had for the review process. And as you can see, there's a lot, you know, into it, so really appreciate that. Any final thoughts you have, or?
I'm just glad that we can make a difference. That's the main reason why we do this, is the fact that try and help people in their everyday lives. A lot of this stuff, a lot of people are afraid to talk about. They're afraid to even discuss it with their friends and family members.
Yeah.
So they just suffer with it.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, is here to help.
And I'm happy about that.
Alright.
Thanks.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you guys came and did it, and I feel a little more at ease.